Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Ultimate Doctor Who Marathon. This is the show where I take a look at every classic Doctor Who story, plus a bunch of big Finnish audio dramas, one episode a day, 7 days a week. Before we begin, because in 2019, YouTube was caught data mining the information of underage users, therefore violating the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, or COPPA, they implemented new policies where they were meant to dodge responsibilities and scapegoat creators, meaning I have to ensure everyone understands that this video is not meant for children. It's not advertised towards kids. It is not targeted towards kids. Viewer discretion is advised. And also, before I begin, I do apologize for the lateness of this video. The world has become busy, so again, going forward, we're reaching a period where I, again, am not sure if every day will be possible, but it's the 6th of March, 2021. We're starting to look at the Year of the Pig. The Year of the Pig is a Doctor Who story where the Sixth Doctor and Peri are essentially on vacation, and sort of them being on vacation is just the thrust of the story for an hour, and it shouldn't work. It really shouldn't. It's not like here's something amazing. No, it's the Doctor and Peri on vacation. But it is so much fun. We're in the past. We are in, we are in like 1913. Just before the outbreak of World War I, and that's kind of a really interesting sort of undercurrent to the story. Something that Matthew Sweet does. Matthew Sweet is one of those interesting writers because he's primarily actually a critic, and has studied science fiction, but most interestingly, he did a lot of short stories, and he's done a couple of things that will obviously, other than this, that we will be covering on the marathon, in the 7th Doctor, a couple more things in the 6th Doctor's run. And that's about it. He writes stories that have this sort of fantastical element to them. And Year of the Pig is no real exception to that. And I mean that in a good way. Sort of the fantasy of this story, this sort of really, really cool stuff here, is just sort of that fantasy. It's one of those amazing sort of fantastical elements. Like, there's this character called Toby the Sapient Pig, who is a sapient pig, and the entire story just treats this like normal. It almost makes this sort of feel like Doctor Who doing magical realism, which I absolutely love. I think is, just a brilliant, amazing sort of genre to play around in, especially because, this is something that you wouldn't really associate with Doctor Who, mainly because magical realism isn't actually a genre that is often used in the English-speaking world. It's, the most easiest example of an author who does magical realism is Gabriel Garcia Marquez, with things like Love in the Time of Cholera, etc. And it just his entire work is that magical realism sort of style, and it works for his work, and Sweet pulls it off really well here. Again, there's something about this story that just makes you sort of fall in love with with the stuff. Like, Toby has this fan, Miss Alice Bultitude, played by the lovely Maureen O'Brien, who of course played Vicky in the Hartnell years, and this was her sort of return to Doctor Who, literally a month before the Companion Chronicles range opened with a story starring Vicky, and it's it's always fun to see her again. Obviously, we've already seen her in the Fifth Doctor's run with The Secret History, but just here she is so fun in this role. Alice is this sort of well-meaning woman, who sort of, is just trying her best, but isn't. You also have Toby's nurse Albertine, played by Adjoa Andoh, who, again, another sort of semi-regular for Big Finish. Obviously on TV she was known in the new series for playing Martha's mother, but she also did she was also the Ragnos. She's again, this is it's a small cast. It's Baker Bryant, Adjoa Andoh, Maureen O'Brien, and then Paul Brook and Michael Keating, and that's it. And this is a 6-character cast, and having only 6 characters means that Sweet, as a writer, hones in on, okay, here's what we're doing. We are very character focused, and we are very much doing a story based on who all these people are, what makes them tick. Let's have fun with this, and I absolutely love seeing it. It's just this really, really fun and amazing, just this amazing way to tell a story where all the characters are sort of larger than life. Like, Michael Keating plays Inspector Chardalot, who is he's sort of the closest thing you have to a villain here. Like, he's trying to hunt down Toby the Sapient Pig, who thinks the Doctor is evil, but then the Doctor charms him, and Colin Baker being charming is fun. Like, there's a lot of charm here. That's where a lot of the story also succeeds, on just sort of making itself, oh, look at how charming we are, and oh, so delightful, and haha. Just sort of that over-the-top charm that when a Doctor Who story does it well, it comes across as really nice and really, really fun. You get to see who see a lot of who the Doctor is just by listening, and it's and you see sort of that Toby, well, kind of a fop, is also this sort of complex character, who traps the Doctor in a situation because he realizes, oh yes, my security is terrible, so I'm sorry, Doctor, you're not allowed to leave. It's really good, and this is, again, a very long episode. Hour and 16 minutes is how long this first episode runs, and it runs by mostly quickly. There are a couple of pacing issues in the middle where I think Sweet could have tightened things up, cut a little scene here, cut a little scene there, and you could have gotten something perfect. But, outside of that, the pacing is really nice. Also, Stuart Manning's evocative cover really shouldn't be underestimated here. Just sort of that, like, old, grainy, sepia-tone photograph looks great. You have Toby as the center of attention, which is good, while Peri and the Doctor are off on the side, and Peri's in this nice dress that's probably lifted from Ghostlight. I wouldn't be surprised if it's lifted from Ghostlight, but it's enshrouded, and it sort of speaks to sort of the mystery, because there is a mystery at this element. It's like, okay, because part of the thing is, why is there a sapient pig? Why is he called Toby? It just like, what is this story actually trying to be? And I mean that in a good way. It's like, these are questions that you should ask. Like, why is there a pig? What is it? And though there are, of course, plenty of jokes at the expense of author Proust, who is there are a lot of literary references that may go over some listeners' heads. Some of them went over my head.
I don't know who Marcel Proust, the work of Marcel Proust. I don't know, I don't know a lot of some of the literary references. But Sweet's script never feels like it's trying to make you be like it's not trying to make you have to understand these literary references. It's just using the literary references to an effect. Um, it's it's a very different sort of thing because of that, where you ask yourself, okay, what's this meant to be? Where are we going with this? Even though obviously it's good, it's well done, not perfect, but well done, really really well done, and really just a lot of fun to listen to. So I'm gonna give part 1 of Year of the Pig a 9 out of 10.
It is the 7th of March 2021. I just finished listening to part 2 of the Year of the Pig. This concluding episode is great. It's one where Matthew Sweet switches genre, and I mean that in a good way. Mainly because this is a story where the length, the very, very big length of the story is a great little thing where you've got the entire story all that the story wants to be, is a very is this very different sort of plot. Like, you have sort of this pastiche of the Great Train Robbery and this big reveal, essentially, that both of that both of the both that a lot of this story is built around just built around Toby, and sort of this big reveal that Inspector Chardalot isn't actually Inspector Chardalot. He's actually Charlie, another sapient pig. And sort of this big reveal is that the real Inspector Chardalot was a time traveler. We never actually get to know who this person actually was. They don't show up, which I think it's an interesting decision that works because it makes you ask the question, okay, well, what did Matthew Sweet then mean for this story? Really, really what was the story meant to be, where you have this, sort of this inspector not being real. And the fact that the inspector isn't real is a good thing.
Do not get me wrong. It's a really, really good thing because it adds sort of the intrigue and just sort of to the mystique of the story, while you have, all this stuff with Toby the Sapient Pig and Michael Keating's character sort of devolving into sort of wanting to be convinced he is human, and convinced because humans have 2 kidneys, he must have a new kidney every time one destroys, even though they're not human kidneys, they are in fact the kidneys of pigs, and it kind of turns into just a bit of just a bit of stuff with it's such a different type of story, where Peri figures things out, the Doctor figures things out, and the Doctor and Peri working together is a lot of fun. This is the first audio where you can really see that dynamic. Obviously, you kind of see it on television by now, especially even if Time Lash has them bickering quite a bit. But moving forward, you have that sort of, there's the bickering there, but they do clearly care for each other. They are clearly characters who, care for each other deeply and wish to be, clearly wish that, they can have their moments and they can be happy together, as traveling companions, in a way that, not a lot of Doctor Who companions ever really did. Like, they do have a different relationship, a relationship that is very different from every other Doctor companion sort of thing. But they also clearly do care, and care a lot. And the Doctor going to save Peri and everything else is great. I love Maureen O'Brien's character, simply for the insanity that she she makes this character so insane, and it's such a great little role, where she comes across right as this this sort of over the top, like, she threatens to taxidermy Toby, because but you must forgive her for falling into taxidermy, for her father made her the way she is, and really, Nurse Albertine is the only sane character. Nurse Albertine is sort of the straight man here, and that's all really, really good. Gary Russell directed this story, with music by Andy Hardwick, and Andy Hardwick's score is great. It sort of harkens back to that time, and everything sort of realizes that, these are just 2 experiments, which kind of means that Toby the Sapient Pig in the Doctor Who universe is a real thing, even if it's not, even if it's not everything that you think it is, because this is a very, very much a different story, where you have everything be just that just sort of off-kilterness, where the off-kilter gets. So I honestly love this episode. Again, everything is just perfect from start to finish. So I'm going to have to give part 2 of Year of the Pig a 10 out of 10. That being said, we added the scores and averaged them out to give Year of the Pig a final score of 9.5 out of 10. Once again, showing just the high quality of 6 Doctor audios. Thank you, everybody, for watching this installment of the Ultimate Doctor Who Marathon. As always, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. And join me next time when we take a look at the finale for the 6 Doctor's first television season with Revelation of the Daleks.